Hello everyone, and welcome to the Halloween countdown. And welcome to Phantom of the Theater. Hello everyone, I am the SlugLady, and today I have no picture, because today we are talking about a movie that I saw on iTunes. You guys get the gist by now, right? Major spoiler warning, because I don't even know what's going to count as a spoiler or whatnot, but definitely spoilers in today's review. Because the Phantom of the Theater, when I bought it, I was expecting a ghost story. In fact, a ghost story is what it looked like it was advertising on the back of the box, and also the trailer. What I didn't realize when I picked up that movie was that in the list of things that are censored and banned in Chinese cinema, one of those things is the supernatural. The other thing is gore, which probably makes it kind of hard to make a horror movie. So you're not going to get that type of horror that we're used to seeing from Japanese cinema. We're not going to see The Ring or The Grudge or Battle Royale or any of those really weird Japanese myths about demons that I love so much. In fact, Phantom of the Theater is much more similar to Phantom of the Opera than a ghost story, which is probably where it got its name from. The story is about a haunted theater. 13 years ago, a theater troupe was killed in a fire, everyone died there, and now they say the theater is haunted. Enter our main characters, one of which is a first-time director that wants to make a horror movie at this haunted theater. And our leading lady, who keeps having these very ghostly encounters at this theater. And I love how the movie itself understands we're trying to be a horror movie when it's really hard to be a horror movie, because instantly the director of the movie that's being made in this movie makes a very cute comment about Chinese censorship laws when it comes to horror movies. And actually, you can't really call this a horror movie. It's much more almost fairy tale-like. There's some horror elements to it, there's some thriller elements to it, a little spooky at times, but mainly the logic that the characters run with, the type of story, the way the characters act, it's much more believable if you think that this is meant to be some sort of fairy tale. Your brain needs to put logic to the side and just go with it. Because the characters do some pretty stupid things in this movie, and there is quite a few times where the story is asking you to dispel a lot of belief. Like when people start spontaneously combusting. Yeah. Now, I can definitely respect the movie for trying to push the boundaries of what it could show on Chinese cinema with the censorship laws. But unfortunately, those same laws, they do hold the movie back. However, that's not the main problem. The censorship is not the biggest problem in the movie. The biggest problem is the giant leaps of logic you have to take, and about halfway through the story just kind of dribbles off. Starts off with some very good character scenes, some very good character development, some beautiful scenery, But then it starts to get very convoluted and confusing, and you get the sense that there was an earlier version of this film, or an earlier version of the script with more in it. Because then all of a sudden during the third act, we get introduced to all these very important characters that we should have had more information about at the beginning of the movie, that we should have met right there and had a more detailed look at, instead of finding out all the details in the third act, if that makes sense. However, despite all of that, it is a very pretty movie to watch. The movie takes place around 1930s China, when westernization has started to come along and influence a lot of China, and Hollywood is starting to influence Chinese cinema. And there is just some beautiful set design, both in the movie itself and the movie that they are in fact making in the theater. And I actually don't know anything about Chinese cinema or the history of Chinese cinema, so this was definitely a very interesting movie to watch, because you really get a good sense of what it was like in that era. In fact, it looks at two eras. It looks at the era when, like, westernization is very, very influential, which is the 1930s, and then 13 years before, when there was much less westernization, and also when there was these much more traditional Chinese theater groups. And it's actually in these flashbacks when you get a more strong sense of these characters and their passions and what they're trying to achieve in their life. Now, the parts that did have ghosts in it were actually really well done, but ended up confusing me more once the true mystery of the movie was revealed. Because again, this is not a ghost story. And they almost seem kind of unnecessary because of that. Either way, this was a very interesting movie. Not scary, very cheesy, very silly at times as well. But it was definitely entertaining and definitely interesting, since I have not seen a lot of Chinese cinema, especially modern cinema. So, yeah, that was Phantom of the Theater. I would say if you're interested in Chinese cinema or Chinese history, then I'd say look at it anyway, because the set design alone is just so pretty. That was probably my favorite part of the entire movie. Hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to like, fave, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.